Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Carmichael Workshop. Before I get to today's project, I wanted to thank everybody for subscribing to my YouTube channel. And also, if you could go over to thecarmichaelworkshop.com, that'll take you to my Facebook page. So if you could like my page there as well, I also post photos of other projects on there. Today we have a very special project that I created for my daughter, Evelyn. And Evelyn, say hi to the people.
Hi.
Evelyn turned 10 years old yesterday, so I decided to make her a jewelry box, and this is what I've come up with. And basically it's a bandsaw box, but it's got 4 drawers over here, and then 1 tall drawer for necklaces. And she has a necklace in there already.
It's the locket.
So how do you like your jewelry box?
I like it. I like this part because it separates it. And
Yes.
you can put like the earring things and then the backs on them.
Right. So that drawer, it actually has 2 compartments in it. And so she can put rings in one and earrings in another or something like that. And then the other drawers
Are just connected.
yeah, they have 1 compartment in them. Yeah.
The other one's a hairband.
Right.
And this one, okay, this drawer had this in it for my birthday.
Yeah.
He gave it to me, and I opened it up, and it had this heart locket. And if you open it, it has my mommy and daddy.
You like that?
Yeah.
And one other feature on top is I put some felt up there as well. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a place where you can lay your earrings and things while you're trying to decide which ones to wear. Right?
Yep.
Alright, so check out the rest of the video, and I'll walk through all the steps I went through to create this bandsaw jewelry box. Thanks, and see you next time. I have some wide pine boards that they're a little cupped because they're so wide. You might be able to see it there. But I'm using my thickness planer to plane them down. And since they're cupped, I'm doing it with the edges down so that the edges are touching. And I'm supporting the middle with a small strip of wood. That way it will plane it flat across the middle. And as I lower the planer, it'll flatten it all the way across the more I flatten it. Man, that thickness planer makes a big mess. Look at all the chips. but it does a great job cleaning up those boards. Look at that pretty wood grain. The next step is to chop these up into 1 foot pieces. Alright, I've got all the boards cut, and the next step is to glue them up. It's going to take a lot of glue and some clamping. Alright, I got it clamped up pretty good. Let's let that sit overnight. I've got my boards glued up. It's pretty solid. It's a nice chunk of wood. It's pretty heavy. And the next step is to take my template and use some spray adhesive to attach it to the top of the boards. I designed my pattern so that the final dimensions will fit in my bandsaw. I have a 12-inch bandsaw, and that is the distance between the blade and the back side here. So what I did was, when I designed my layout here, I made sure the largest dimension, which is usually diagonally, is about 12 inches or less. So that way, whenever I'm turning the piece, I'll always have clearance back here, and I'll be able to make all my cuts. One other thing I'd like to point out is I'm using a 1/4 inch blade. So I designed my layout so that all the radiuses of the curves can be cut with a 1/4 inch blade. So that's one thing you need to plan for. Okay, I've got my project laid down on this extra piece of wood, and I'm just going to trace around it, and later I'm going to cut that out for the back. point I have all the drawers cut out, and it's looking really great. I'll take them out so you can see what we've got here. There's the first drawer, second, third, fourth, and I've written numbers on here so I can keep track of which ones go where. And then the side drawer over here. And then all that's left is this carcass here. And at this point it's a little fragile because it's so thin, but once I glue on the back, the solid back piece is going to be nice and rigid. But before I glue on the back, there's a couple of things I need to do. Number one is the drawers are just solid chunks of wood. So what I need to do here is slice off the front and the back of each drawer and then hollow it out. Before I slice these pieces, I'm going to mark the thickness that I want to cut off the front and the back of each drawer. Push it down and just kind of draw my line. And that's where I want to cut the front and the back off. Alright, now that I've sliced off the back and the front of each drawer, I need to mark how I want to carve out the inside of the drawer. I could either make one big drawer and cut it that way, or I could leave a little divider in the middle, which would divide the drawer into two compartments and have a piece of wood running down the side. I think what I want to do is for the top two drawers, I want to have them divided in half with two smaller drawer sides. And then the bottom two, I'm just going to leave one big drawer. And then, of course, the tall drawer for the necklace, I'm just going to carve that out. That way necklaces can hang in there freely. So here's drawer number one. And I'm going to cut it so that there's going to be two compartments with a piece of wood running down the middle. Alright, I've got drawn on my pieces where I want to cut out the waste that's going to open up the compartments for the drawers. So let's cut it out. I got my drawer pieces cut out, and just so you can see what's going on here, this is the number one drawer, which is up here at the top, and what I did was cut these two U shapes out of it so that it has two compartments with a divider between. And eventually I'm going to glue on the front of the drawer and also glue on the back, and then you can see it creates a little drawer that's going to slide in there with two compartments. But before I glue the drawers back together, the first thing I need to do is sand everything. Okay, now I'm going to glue the back onto the box like that. Okay, now I'm gluing the front and back pieces onto the drawer itself. I've got the front and back of each drawer glued on, and they're basically clamped down with the blue tape. I've also got the back glued on, and that dried overnight, so that's good to go. I'm peeling the template paper off the project if you have a hard time getting your paper off your project, just rub some mineral spirits on top of it and let it soak in for about 30 seconds, and it will pull off pretty easily. Alright, I got the template peeled off, and it's looking great. I love that wood grain that's going down the middle. And yeah, I planned that. Alright, I've got the bandsaw box all sanded up, and it's looking pretty good. I marked the places where I want the knobs to go for each of the drawers, and I went out and bought some of these little round wooden knobs at the hobby shop, and I cut the tenon a little bit shorter because the drawer front is kind of thin, so I'm only going to drill a short hole in there, just enough so I can glue it in. Okay, I've got all the parts to the bandsaw box out here, and I'm just going to spray it with some clear lacquer. Okay, I went out and bought some of this blue self-stick felt. It's got a peel and stick back on it, and what I'm going to do is cut it to fit inside the bottom of each drawer. Alright, one of the things that I'm not too happy about, and you never really know this until you finish the project, is how the wood grain turned out. It's kind of, this end grain appears kind of blotchy, and it just doesn't look good, I don't think. So what I've decided to do is cut a piece of the blue felt that I lined the drawers with, and I'm going to stick it on top, kind of like that, and that will cover up that wood grain. Plus, it gives kind of an extra spot, like right in here, where you can put some earrings or something there. Alright, so here's what the box looks like with the felt on top. And I think it looks pretty cool, especially when you open the drawers and it's got matching color inside. I'm digging it. Okay, the next thing I need to do is take some of these brass hooks and screw them into the top of the necklace drawer. Hi everybody, and welcome. Don't laugh at me. Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Carmichael workshop. Before I get to today's... Hi everybody, before I... Hi everybody, welcome back.
Do you want me to say it? Hello everybody, welcome back to the Carmichael workshop.
Oh, that was good. Okay, here we go.
Start already.
Okay. Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Carmichael workshop. Before I get to